Hi everyone, welcome to my painting diary. This is chapter 24, and it's the first for this year of 2022. So it's time I bring you up to date with what I've been painting. As you can see, I've got a couple of bits in front of me and some other bits I can show you. So let's get straight into it. So these are some of my Christmas presents that you might have seen in my sort of Christmas loot shout out video thing. I'll put a link in here. You can have a check at that if you want. Okay, so what we have here is my Natal native contingent. They're done pretty much the same as my Zulus were done. The only difference, obviously, is they've got the little red bits. That's to mark that they're part of the British Army, as opposed to, Zulus to fight. So I've done them slightly different, only marginally, in that I don't know if you can tell, but like their cloaks are slightly darker. I've made their shields a slightly different color, that sort of thing. Just subtle little differences, but skin tones, similar sort of recipe to what I've done with my others. So I've got like the darker purple shaded one, a lighter brown one, a more darker chocolatey one, that sort of thing. So very similar there. I've run out of tufts of the tufts I've been using for my Anglo-Zulu War stuff, so I need to get more tufts. But for now, everything else is up to date. These guys on this end, these were the 6 marching guys that John got me for Christmas. And just in the corner here, I've got the 4 I had previously, purely based on, I wanted to show you what I was building towards. So it's difficult to explain why this is significant to me. I don't know. I like the visual aspect of what wargaming brings. It's a very eye-catching thing. So marching units, casualties, firing units, they all look really cool. And in the certain aspects of the certain parts of the game, they make it even look cooler. Standards do the same, inspirational leaders, that sort of stuff. So anyway, this is the 6 new marching guys, and then of course these will get added to that to make a full unit of line infantry marching from the 24th foot. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I literally just used the same color scheme that I did for the rest of my army. Nothing special there. And what's more is I've also got to finish off the basing with the tufts, but I've run out. So yeah. And then finally is these on the floor here. So we've got some casualties. I like, again, with the visual aspect of gaming, when a unit takes casualties to represent these where they've fallen. It's just, it brings such a visual look to the table and realism. So it's pretty cool. What I've done here as well is I've got 4 guys that I've done in the naval kit, and then the rest are all done in the 24th foot kit. And that's just, when I'm using the naval units, they will be the casualties for them, and when I'm using the 24th foot, I'll be using the casualties like that. I don't have any of the Highlander casualties. Might be something I can work on for the future. I'll obviously need more, because the bigger the game, the more casualties I need. I try not to smatter the table too much with debris and stuff, but just a few visual aspects is nice. So yeah, this is some of the stuff I finished from Christmas. So I got more British regulars and the British Natal native contingent, some casualties. I've also been working on some more Zulus. They're just not 100% finished yet. But with that said, I think, because I've got quite a few things now. I've got over 100 and so Zulus painted. I've got good smattering of British figures painted. And the Men Who Would Be Kings doesn't huge, large games. I did notice that Blood and Plunder, the Firelock games, are going to be doing a Anglo-Zulu War rule set, which would be cool. I'll definitely try that, and that might reinvigorate me to do some more British stuff in the future, because I still want to do some more artillery and some cavalry and bits and pieces like that. But in the meantime, I think I won't draw a line under it, but it'll be, this is like, I'm good now. I can move on to something else, a different period, a different project, and then come back to this later when I get some new rule sets and whatnot. And of course, you saw in the video, I got Congo and the North Star rule set, which I can't think of what it's called now. So that might bring some differences to the gaming. But we're still got a couple more battle reports for this to go up. I've got a decent amount of figures. Just work on some more terrain, and this is good to go. Alright, let's see what else I got going on that I've painted. Okay, so I've put all this together, even though these are all different things. This is for one customer, so I didn't separate it out into little bits. Probably should have, but here we go. So we've got stuff here from Games Workshop, we've got stuff here from Bad Squidder Games, and we've got stuff here from Atomic Mass Games. It's the Marvel Crisis Protocol core set over here. So we got the Daily Bugle. This is the scenery piece. It's a plastic scenery piece. I didn't realize that at the time when I brought it, or picked it up, or started painting it, or whatever you want to call it. Really nice and detailed. Really cool little cars as well. We've gone for a real comic book style look to the cars. And it came a couple of bins and some traffic lights, etc. over there. There's a little bin down here. And then, of course, all the heroes and villains. So you've got Captain America, etc., etc. I'm not going to go through all of them now. The basing is obviously part of the set as well. So they come with nice themed bases. They look pretty cool. And I think my favorite to paint was maybe Captain Marvel. She has a nice color scheme to her. Nice look to them. Getting a little closer here, you can see. So what is there? 5 villains and 5 heroes, and then all the scenery bits to go with that. And then there was a couple of odds and sods as well. We've got Gortrek Gunderson. I think it's a big scenic base for that. And this Salute figure from this year. Unfortunately, we just heard as well that Salute has been cancelled for April. It's a bit of a shame. I'm not going to pick this guy up because he's very wobbly, but you got this Stormcast Eternal character with the little pigeon on the thing. That came off quite a few times, I got to admit. And then down at the bottom here, we've got some treasure chests. What was interesting, just as a random thing, the customer picked these up and was like, oh, Jason can paint these. And then basically noticed on the back of the packaging that it was painted by us originally anyway. I wonder if I have that little slip here. Hold on one second. You can see here. So down at the bottom here, painted by Painting Notes. Carla did these actually, and she did a fantastic job on these. And while she was doing some of the bits and pieces, I did these ones. We got, I don't know who these little treasure chests from, but they're very basic at the moment. And then you got the 8 original pieces that came with this set that we originally did there. And then some 4 or 5 other pieces. I'm not sure where they're from. But a lot of treasure piles, some treasure chests. The whole Marvel core set. This is for a Christmas present. And then some Games Workshop characters. That's a loot figure. All in all, one large commission. Really good. I gotta admit, I didn't like this commission purely on the basis that now I want a core set like this. As most people my age, we're a big fan of comic books and stuff like that. And I've stayed clear of this game because it's quite dear, quite expensive. But of course, now that I've painted it, I'm like, oh man, this was cool. Really enjoyed that. So many cool scenery pieces that they do for this as well. Not only visually is it really good looking, but I believe it's a really good game as well. So now I'm really like, ooh, I must not buy this. But yes, so this is a nice big commission to finish off the year. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Let's see if we have anything else. So here we have another batch of TT Combat figures. These are mostly for their Desert of the Dead range, or as I like to call the Egyptian Dark Elves. So over here we have 10 scouts with crossbows and scimitars. These are effectively shades. Very simple, very elegant figures. This one was a little more interesting. This is the War Hydra with 2 handlers. As you can see here, I've tried to give it a little more patterns along the edge of its skin. It's got the heads. This was not a one-piece model. The heads obviously slot in separately. It's quite flat, actually. It's like a big snake. Yeah, very thematic. I think the heads came out quite nicely. They got little patterns in them. I'm not sure you can see that as yet, but they came in with nice little patterns. I try to keep the same sort of core scheme throughout the army, but just a little accents here and there just to break them up. And we'll come back to the feet in a minute. And then over here we've got 10 what they call hawklings, and they're basically harpies. So they're attached by their long flowing cloaks. I had a look at some hawks online, see what sort of feathers I wanted to go for, and I decided to go for this sort of darker red and brown look rather than the usual white and grey and those sort of things, just to make them stand out. I mean, when you look at them like that, they're quite striking, you know. And when you go in a little closer, you probably go, well, hawks don't really have red wings. They have more of a faded brown. But this is a fantasy army, so there's that. So those are 3 more units for the Desert of the Dead range. And then we got this guy. So this is a big Nurgle giant. As you can see there, his weapon is on the side. I haven't attached his weapon because I'm almost 90% convinced that during transit it will come apart. So I thought I'd just leave it off for now. It's got a hole for a pin and everything. And then he's just all nurgled up. So he's rotten and poxy and sort of dead looking. This, I'm not mistaken, is a miniature from Max Mini. And I don't know, I think TT Combat are selling them now. I'm not sure, but I just know I had to paint it. So there's another, what is that, 24 models? Although one of them is very big. And the Hydra was, you know, you would consider that a largish model. Okay, so there's another batch of models. They'll be sending me more of these, I know, they already said. So I've got more of this upcoming. And I've got some ideas as well that I might do one for myself in the future. So we'll see.